Welcome to Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge, where we will discuss and discover the challenges and triumphs of those living with NLD, nonverbal learning disability, and other learning challenges such as autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and any other invisible learning differences that one may live with. And I like to interview individuals as well who live with various learning challenges. So if you know anybody, please point me their way, or if you are that individual, I would love to interview you on various topics. So please let me know. And I welcome you to this podcast. Okay, so today's topic or title is When It's Hard to Ask for Help, Loneliness, Feeling Like a Burden, and Living with the Invisible. Hi, and welcome back to Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This episode, it's tender, it's raw. Honestly, it's one I've held close to my chest for a long time, but it's hard to talk about, really hard. Today, I want to open up about what loneliness feels like when you're neurodivergent, about what it's like to carry the weight of feeling like a burden, about how deeply complicated it is to ask for help when what you're struggling with isn't always visible, when your pain lives beneath the surface. If that sounds familiar to you, I want you to know you're not alone, and if it doesn't, I still invite you to lean in, because someone in your life might be living this silence, and this might help you understand them just a little bit better. Section 1, the loneliness you don't see. One of the hardest parts of being neurodivergent and living with chronic migraines is the invisibility of it all. I can look fine, smile, function, get through a day, but what's happening inside, that's a whole different story. Loneliness for me isn't just being alone. It's about being unseen or misunderstood. I can be in a room full of people and still feel like I don't quite belong, not because I don't want to connect, but because connection often feels like a maze because connection often feels like a maze I wasn't given the map for. And even when I try to explain what I'm going through, the mental fatigue, the sensory overload, the migraine that's been building for hours, it doesn't always land. People nod, but they don't really get it, unless they live with it. So I retreat, I get quiet, and slowly that silence turns into something else, loneliness. Not the kind you fix with company, but the kind that sits deep in your bones. It becomes familiar, not welcome, just familiar. Section 2, when you start to feel like a burden. This is hard to say out loud, but I think someone out there might need to hear it. When you cancel plans a lot, when you flinch at sounds that no one else notices, when you need breaks or naps or time away from the noise, it starts to creep in, that feeling of being too much. You start to wonder if people are tired of making space for your challenges, even if they never say it. You start saying it to yourself. You begin to expect rejection before it even happens. You downplay what you need. You push through things you shouldn't, and when it all comes crashing down, the shame is right there waiting. There's a sentence that sometimes runs through my mind: why can't I just be normal? Not out of self-loathing, but out of exhaustion, out of wanting to not always be the one who needs help, who needs extra. But here's something I'm slowly learning. Being human doesn't mean being easy. It means being real. And real people have needs. Real people struggle. Real people ask for help. We don't have to apologize for existing. Before I go into that, I thought I would address that this election is going to be very important, and I am not telling you how to vote. I'm just encouraging you to vote. If you are 18 years old or older, I encourage you to vote and to do a lot of research so that you are informed on what you're voting on, and that you are able to do well with the voting process and be informed on it. And I am also an ambassador for the NVLD project, and then NVLD project is trying to get the NVLD back on the DSM, which is a manual for mental and learning disabilities, and it helps people get accommodations in school and in life by defining what the disability is and how it affects you in life, and by showing examples and evidence of it, and by giving a clear definition of it. So that's what the DSM is, and they're trying to get NVLD back in there. And in order to do that, they renamed NVLD to developmental visual spatial disorder. I always forget the D. My hope is that when they do that, they will list all the symptoms, because nonverbal wasn't a very good name for it either, but neither is developmental visual spatial disorder, because it's not just developmental and visual spatial, it's also the social, which nonverbal doesn't have either. So it's like, my name that I've kind of developed for it, which I'm not sure if it's very good either, is invisible learning spectrum disorder. But I don't know that's very good either. So anyways, and this podcast is also supported by Patreon and Spotify and BetterHelp. So BetterHelp is a therapy company that does therapy online and remotely. I have not used BetterHelp, but I know they're very good, and I have been in therapy for more than 8 years, I think 8.5. I'm not doing it currently, but I was doing it last year, and it was very helpful for me when I was doing it online and remotely. It was very helpful for me. It was able to change a lot of things in my life and make my life better. So if you want a discount for BetterHelp, I'll include the link for that. And Patreon is a way for me to give you the episodes without any ads, like I'm doing right now. And I give you access to transcripts as well, and to the episodes without any ads. So if you want that, it's either $5 for the episode without any ads, or $10 with the transcript. I know that might seem like a lot of money, but I'm not really not doing it for the money. I'm trying to do it so I can donate the money to the NVLD project, or so I can do it to pay back on my website subscription fee. So if you're willing to do that, please do. I will give the link for that as well in the description. And I also have podcast swag. I will get the link for that as well. T-shirts and water bottles and tote bags and other pretty cool stuff. So I will give the link for that as well. Section 3, why asking for help feels so hard. This part gets complicated, especially when you've spent your whole life trying to seem fine. When you're neurodivergent or living with chronic pain, or both, you become an expert at masking, at performing okay. So asking for help, it can feel like a failure or confirmation of every fear you've carried about being too much. And if you've been dismissed before, told it's all in your head or just a headache, or that you're overreacting, then asking for help starts to feel risky. What if they say no? What if they don't believe me? So you wait until you're completely at your limit. And then when you finally reach out, it can feel like too little, too late. But here's something I want to say to both you and me. Asking for help isn't weakness. It's strength. It's courage. It's saying I matter enough to be cared for, even when it's messy, even when it's inconvenient. Section 4, practicing self-compassion. Lately, I've been learning how to hold myself with more gentleness, to let myself be human. It sounds simple, but it's taken me years. I'm learning to speak kindly to myself when I cancel plans, to remind myself that rest isn't something I have to earn, to notice the shame when it tries to show up and meet it with truth instead. Truth like, I am not a burden, my needs are valid, asking for help is not giving up, it's letting people in. And the more I practice this, the less power loneliness has over me. It doesn't disappear entirely, but I don't feel trapped by it anymore, because I start to believe that I can be real and still be loved, that I can be vulnerable and still be held. Resources if you want to go deeper. If this conversation resonated with you, I want to leave you with a few articles and studies that go deeper into what we talked about today. Neurodivergence and asking for help. Why it's so hard to ask for help when you're on the autism spectrum, by Dr. Tasha Oswald, Open Doors Therapy, or The Pervasive Loneliness of Autism from the Time magazine. Neurodivergent Are You Okay campaign. Chronic migraines and emotional isolation. These articles are from that category. The isolation of chronic migraines from migraine.com. The loneliness and migraine self-management, a cross-section study, PMC journal. The loneliness of migraine scale from MDPI research. Feeling like a burden. Why do I feel like a burden? Charlie Health. Overcoming loneliness, helping kids build social connection. Children's Hospital, Colorado. Good for understanding the roots of this feeling. These are all linked in the show notes if you want to explore them. If anything in today's episode landed for you, I hope you'll carry this with you. You're not alone. Your struggle is real, and your need for support does not make you a burden. It makes you human. Maybe today is the day you reach out. Just one small step, a message, a conversation, a deep breath of compassion towards yourself. You matter, your pain is valid, and you deserve care. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you next time, or I'll talk to you next time.
I hope that episode was well worth it for you to listen to, and that you were able to take something away from it, even if you don't have a learning challenge, or if you do. I hope it was extra worthwhile for you, so that you are able to learn something and maybe journal and jot down some few takeaways, so that the next time you experience that challenge yourself, you're able to learn how to breathe through it more easily, or maybe not have a meltdown or a tantrum, or be able to take away more learning from it and not make the same mistake twice, and be able to also help somebody else go through that experience if you have a friend who has a learning difference and you are neurotypical. So I hope you will be able to have some experiences in your life now that you have listened to this episode.